As I drew closer to middle age, I started seeing a new pattern of behavior forming, a mindset and a way of thinking. I began to see just how crucial it was to be deliberate about health. It started with cutting back on certain foods I enjoyed and forcing myself to get used to others I previously had not. It continued with staying more active and putting a priority on good, quality sleep at night. It was a lot of things I just didn't think about when I was younger. But in some ways, I was too late. I once heard someone say something in a movie. It was an older, successful businessman at a retirement party who was giving some pearls to the younger guy who was going to succeed him. He made the comment, referring to his wife, "When Gloria died, all the fun went out of it." He then looked at the younger man and said, "Your wife and your health, that's the real stuff." I was in my 20s when I saw the film, and while the remark didn't really make that big of an impression at the time, I knew I wouldn't forget it. Still though, I was going to do two things for almost the next 2 decades. Not eat very healthy and ignore certain health conditions I knew I should be paying more attention to. It's not that I allowed myself to become obese or abuse drugs or anything like that. In fact, I've enjoyed good health most of my life and have stayed in decent shape. I used to run every morning before my knees started hurting. I also participated in theater productions that involved a lot of physical movement and dancing. I've done a lot of weight training and I enjoy juggling, including weighted balls, torches, and swords. To look at me, you'd think I was fine, health-wise anyway. But along the way, I was overlooking a couple matters I knew were potentially serious. The first was an ongoing problem with high blood pressure. My father had it and had taken medication for years, so I figured it could be something I would probably have to deal with. Doctors had warned me for a long time and encouraged treatment, but I staved them off. The second was sleep issues. I had been snoring loudly since I was a teenager. By the time I was in my 20s, still slender and physically active, people noticed that I had a disorder. This problem would cause me to stop breathing at night, to the point where it was almost killing me at times. I would later find out this condition is called sleep apnea. But like so many things in life, I didn't do anything about any of this until I had to. The result was damage to my body that needed repair. By the time things came to fruition, I was like a 49-year-old car that had to be taken to the garage and have parts fixed and replaced. I couldn't believe it. I was too young, too healthy, too something to have to deal with this kind of thing. But yet there I was, with only one realistic and daunting option. I would find out later though that in addition to certain health items I'd been turning a blind eye to, there were also some pre-existing conditions I was born with. None of us have any control over things like that, but in my case, the combination of what I'd been born with and persisting untreated problems created a perfect storm, and I ended up with 2 major issues that required significant medical intervention.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.